Geleceği Endüstri 4.0 hızında yeniden dizayn edin konuşmasını dinlemek üzere Oracle, Orta Doğu ve Afrika Kıdemli Direktör SAMINA RIZWAN'ı alkışlarınızla sahneye davet ediyorum.
Günaydın. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me well? First of all, great privilege and honor to be at this university. I apologize to all of you for not being able to speak to you in your own beautiful language. If you speak slowly, I can understand a lot of what you say, but I hope that you can understand me well. My gratitude to Professor Aisha Gul, wherever she is, and there you are, and to the faculty as well as the university and the sponsors for inviting me. I hope that the next 30 minutes will be interesting for all of you. I want to just introduce myself. I work out of Dubai and I look after Middle East Africa for an area of solution which impacts digital marketing very, very heavily, and that is data analytics and the autonomous and the future emerging technology environments. So for the next 30 minutes, I would like to engage you in a conversation about how your organization and all of us as individuals are going to make ourselves quote unquote future fit. So let's start with a salute to the innovators of the world. Let me see if I've got these correct. Next one. Which button is it? Can you come and help me with the button? Which one? Because this computer is a bit unfamiliar to me. Ah, I can use this. Wonderful. Okay, good. Thank you. Right, so we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. You are aware of the agricultural revolution and the industrial revolution. How do we define when does an economy become a revolution? If you listen to some of the thought leaders across the world, you will hear somebody like Stephen Hawking saying that the fourth industrial revolution, which is based upon artificial intelligence, is probably the most perilous. It could be the greatest existential threat to humanity, he said. Francois Chollet, who works for Google, said, economies don't die because of a revolution. Economies just shift. something different comes up. So some jobs may be lost, others may appear. At Oracle, we have a more pragmatic approach. We say that artificial intelligence and machine learning are all going to augment what we give to you as solutions. So I want you to, when you get time later on, Google and study a thought leader by the name of Geoffrey Moore. He's written some great books and some great quotes come from him. He said that waves reshape economies when the marginal cost of additional capacity approaches zero. Those of you who study stats and calculus and mathematics will know this. When the marginal cost of additional capacity approaches zero. If you look at the slide that I'm presenting to you, there are many waves. I just replaced smartphones with Internet of Things. And I said, these are the different waves that are happening in the fourth industrial revolution as we move on. On one side, you will see something called systems of engagement leading all the way to systems of intelligence. These are also three terms that Geoffrey Moore coined. He started with a term called systems of record. Something like Excel sheets, you're aware of it, are systems of records. Sequential files are systems of records. Those of you who are not from IT, don't worry, I'm not going to give you a lecture in IT. We will move on to things like digital marketing, etc. very soon. So you went from systems of record to systems of engagement, which were things like smartphones, right? Now we are in systems of intelligence. These are machine learning, artificial intelligence based things. Please remember, in the past, revolutions in industry, be they agriculture or industrial, have impacted 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 industries. The fourth industrial revolution based upon artificial intelligence is the first revolution that is going to impact the entire world of industries that we have. Every industry, every human being is going to be impacted. And it is said that anything that you created in the 20th century for success is going to fail in the 21st century unless you make some changes in the way you operate and the way you think. So, what are systems of intelligence? Again, just a little bit of explanation, not going into deep IT. When a child learns to speak, when a child learns to ride a bicycle, you and I can understand that we do learn. How do we learn is something that's a bit vague to us, right? What goes on in our head that allows us to learn is a bit difficult to understand. This is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning. Machine learning is a little bit of a black box. If I ask somebody what's happening inside the computer, they'll say, well, something is going on, I can't really explain it to you. But if I ask somebody, did your child learn to speak? And you'll say, oh yeah, in the past 2 weeks, she has learned 10 new words. You understand that, right? So it's cognitive, it's something you can capture. Machine learning is something that's a bit of a black box. It's very fierce in terms of algorithms. That's a word you will hear a lot. It processes and reprocesses. In a way, it is learning from itself, but it's not comprehensible by us as human beings. Artificial intelligence we can comprehend. It's a little bit like us, and it's conceptual, and it understands things. Where we sit as Oracle is in the middle, and this is called adaptive intelligence. Adaptive intelligence is the combination of the two, AI and ML. It is where the two of them meet. And it is a combination that is all pervasive and valuable for the business. For example, if you have a customer experience environment or a solution, what you used to do earlier was something that was a snapshot in history. Today, so I'm a customer of a bank. The bank knows me as a loan a product user. The bank may know me as a current account holder. The bank may know me as as a car insurance customer. But maybe the bank doesn't know me as one person having these 3 products. One of the things that CX did in an earlier generation was combine all of those. So it came at the business not as a product, but as a person. It gets to know me as a person. But you see, I am not a snapshot in time. I am evolving every day. Today I'm in Istanbul. Maybe I need to use my card here in Istanbul. My bank should know where I am, right? I give it all of the opportunity to know. I tweet, I put on LinkedIn, my travel record is there. All the public records associated with me should tell my bank I'm in Istanbul. But when the bank sends me a message says, there's a sale on at 9 West or at Aldo Shoes, 10% off if you give this card. The sale is on in Dubai. Why does the bank not know I'm in Istanbul, right? The bank knows I like to buy shoes, but it doesn't know I'm in Istanbul. If it said to me, there's a sale on in the Aldo's next to La Meridian because it knows I'm staying at La Meridian, I would probably use the card. This is the first step into intelligence-based marketing, and there's a lot more that we can expand upon. So your digital marketing platform must develop new senses to be able to talk to me as a human being beyond just knowing me as a customer of one product or one set of product. We will expand a little more on what senses a business has to develop in order to serve the customer or in order to serve the enterprise a little better. Software will disrupt most traditional industries in the next 5 to 10 years. Let me tell you a story. Another person you should Google is the CEO of Mercedes-Benz. He's told a story last year, I think it was 2017 or early 2018, and he said, my competition, remember this is Mercedes-Benz, huh? My competition is no more Audi or Volkswagen or Toyota. My competition is Tesla. The engineers at car companies are terrified of Tesla because guess what? Car companies are doing what to improve themselves for the next generation? They are just building better cars. What are Tesla, Elon Musk, or Google, or the such like doing? They are building a computer on wheels, right? Tesla is a computer on wheels. What is Uber, by the way? There were always taxis, right? There was a passenger who wanted to go from here to there. There was a driver who had a car, who could use the car. What did you do? You put a computer in the middle of it. You brought the passenger to the car and the driver. The service was already there. The computer platform was not. This is your 4th industrial revolution, right? So the CEO of Mercedes-Benz said, our world is about to change. Anybody who's driving a car today should understand that tomorrow your child is not even going to get a driver's license. Why? Because they won't need to own a car. Why? Because the car will come to your door, pick you up, and drop you somewhere. If there are no cars that we own, parking lots will not be needed. If parking lots will not be needed, you can turn that space into parks rather than parking lots, right? If I can work while I'm being driven to work, if I can do something else, I could live very far away, let the automatic car drive me, and I could be working in my car. So I could live very far away. I don't have to live within the city. If there are fewer cars, right now over 1 million people die in car accidents in a year across the world. If there are no cars that we are driving, there will be probably fewer accidents, right? If there are fewer accidents, what will the insurance companies do? Insurance will go down completely. There will be probably no car insurance within the next 2 to 3 years. Are the insurance companies preparing for this? If there are a lot of electrical cars, and by the way, electricity will become very easy. Right now, there are more solar panels going up than there is fossil energy being used, fossil fuel being used. So if electricity becomes really cheap, guess what? Water desalination will be easier and cheaper. Right now, we are not short of water, we are short of drinkable, usable water, right? So if you're able to desalinate, you will have all the water in the world. When you have more water and more parks, you will have less pollution. Lawyers, by the way, can stop studying. Any of you who are studying law, my son was going to study law, he decided he wasn't going to because IBM's Watson is already doing 90% of the tasks that lawyers do, and it does it very well. There is an application called, a solution called a tricorder, which you can wear like you did in Star Trek right here. And it can measure your blood, it can measure your heartbeat, your blood pressure, and it is better than a nurse in understanding 56 plus diseases that you could have. So guess what? The hospital system as we know it is going to change. He kept telling this story. I don't want to go into the whole story. It's fascinating. This is how the fourth industrial revolution is going to impact you. So the question arises, how are we going to prepare ourselves for it? Look at this, very interesting trivia that I want to tell you. The green line going up is SMSs. You all understand text message? So for many years we used text message and it kept going up. We started to call less, we messaged more, it was quicker. But as SMSs were going up, something else was happening. The yellow line. What do you think that was? WhatsApp. WhatsApp was sneaking in and SMS didn't know, right? And WhatsApp came up and suddenly, who SMSs anymore? If I have to text somebody, I'm like, aren't you on WhatsApp? What century do you live in, right? So it snuck in on top of SMSs. The business of SMS was not ready for WhatsApp. Do you have other examples like that? Kodak. Kodak was not ready for pictures by phone, smartphone, right? Hotels were not really ready for Airbnb. Taxis and drivers were not really ready for Uber. Not because they didn't see the technology, but because they didn't think they had to reinvent themselves, right? What happens is that in terms of time, attention, budget, talent, etc., you don't invest as much today as you think you will need. You think you will need less. You are investing a lot. If you invest a lot today and less over the next years, this happens. Your return today will be less, but your future value will increase. So my point, let me pause a little bit. My point to you is, if your business is not future fit, if you're not demonstrating pepper like Burak did just now with Ishbank, if you are not thinking along those lines like Ishbank thinks, that it should be ready for the future, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get SMS'd like WhatsApp SMS'd people. It just finished the industry of SMS just like smartphones finished the industry of Kodak cameras, right? Okay, so what we are learning now is innovation is essential to being future fit, and innovation is intrinsic and instinctive. This means that it is not just one person in the company, not the chief innovation officer. There's no such thing as a chief innovation officer. Everybody in the organization must be innovative. And what does it take to be innovative? Where are you on the levels of information? Please judge your organization and understand what level you're at. You could be an innovator like Tesla, right up there. Or you could be an innovator like Uber, a little lower. You could be an innovator like Oracle in marketing, which is putting adaptive intelligence into its CX solutions. You could be an innovator at an individual level using social media and creating your own apps on top of solutions to be able to address your customer base a lot more carefully. Please remember, another bit of trivia. When electricity first came to the world, when electricity was first introduced and invented, it took 50 years or close, between 50 and 100 years, I suppose, for 60% of the US households to receive electricity. 60% of US households received electricity in more than a century. It took that more than 50 years or half a century. When smartphones came, it took 10 years for everybody in the world, as we know today, to go from cell phones to smartphones, right? Then smartphones took even less and less to evolve, 5 years. Today, artificial intelligence is going to impact you on a yearly, monthly basis. Every month you will see your organization, your bank, your insurance agency, your university, your electricity provider going to go to more enhanced customer experience than what you see today. Oracle has a customer by the name of PayScout, which has a virtual reality commerce app which can offer you things to sell, whatever you're going to buy, by your facial recognition. So if I'm looking at something that I like and I do this, they know that I'm interested. They have my history, which they're keeping, and then I do something like this, or I do something like this, and I do something like this. They know I'm interested or not. The moment they figure out that you're interested, they are going to give you more options like that. So it's the same thing as advertising to you, but advertising based on facial recognition, to the extent that it's a payment gateway, actually, payment platform. So when I say this, it means I will pay, and they will charge me, instead of doing this to say I will pay. So it's even faster than clicking. It's actually just blinking. PayScout is a payment platform using Oracle solutions that does that. Okay, so now we get to the tail end of what makes you future fit. A future fit organization can be defined thus. It does not just navigate its destiny today. It's where it intends to get to eventually today. It navigates any changes that may happen in the environment, which means to us in today's world or in yesterday's world, the destination was important. Today, I could change the destination based upon how well I can maneuver the variables. So if things change in my environment, my destination could change. Am I ready if my destination changes? SMS in the oops, rest in peace graph that I showed you from The Economist was not ready. Kodak was not ready. Hotels, many of the ones that are closing, were not ready for Airbnb. So these things are what define you as future fit. How are you navigating today, and are you able to navigate tomorrow? There are some senses that you need to develop to do this, and we will go to the senses. So developing new business senses that intertwine and reinforce each other constantly. It's what we call an infinite loop. It keeps going again and again to the same thing and coming back. Our digital marketing platforms, or anybody's digital marketing platforms, must have these 5 senses to be able to survive in the next revolution. The business of the future is human. First attribute or first trait, we must have everything human. If you are not impacting somebody at a very human level, you may as well not be using that technology. It must be holistic, it must be easy to use, it must welcome you as a customer, it must solve some problem of yours. So a customer should stop being looked at as a snapshot in time. A customer should be looked at as somebody who's evolving on a second-to-second basis, and your platform must know that I am an evolving entity. This is done by adaptive intelligence embedded into the customer experience platform, which is what should be provided to you as a user. The business of the future is connected. So if a bank knows me as a loan customer, if the bank knows me as a current account customer, or a car loan customer, or a mortgage customer, that's not good enough. The bank should know me as one person holding all of that, plus the bank should know me, my son is graduating from university. They should know I may be moving out of Dubai into another country. They should know what my shopping preferences are. They should know all of me so that they can maximize their wallet share but also remain connected to me at all levels. So a connected platform is what is expected of you using artificial intelligence. The business of the future is insight driven. Remember, I don't say data driven. Data by itself is nothing. Data must fulfill or come up to insight level. It must create some learnings from you. So in the pre-artificial intelligence age, we would ask the computer a question. We would say, computer, I have this question. Can you give me an answer? In the data science and artificial intelligence world, we say, computer, I don't have a question. Can you still give me an answer? So what are you looking for? You're looking for patterns. Patterns that have not been discovered before. This group of people in this part of Istanbul behaves this way. You never thought of it. If you can discover it, you can make some advantage from it for your company as well as for the consumer, right? So insight driven as opposed to data driven or any kind of pre-artificial intelligence environment where you were working in a siloed environment. The business of the future must be autonomous. So the poster child for autonomous is the autonomous car, the self-driving car. Oracle research says that by 2020, there will be several million cars on the roads which are autonomous, self-driven. That's the poster child. But what do we mean by autonomous? Autonomous environment has three things, keep it in mind. Autonomous, did I change it? No. Autonomous environment is self-driving, self-repairing, self-trusting or self-risk mitigating or self-securing. Self-driving, self-securing, self-repairing. What machine language allows you to do is learn on its own and correct itself. It's like a child's cognitive ability. You get on a bicycle, you fall. Next time, you know somehow to balance yourself. You fall again. Third time, you are balancing yourself really well. And you go ahead and you ride. This is the kind of learning machine learning allows a computer to do. It is expected that by 2030, machines like Pepper are going to be smarter than us. That's the existential threat or the opportunity that the thought leaders of the world are talking about. And finally, when we talk of trust, think of something like blockchain. It is predicted that the future of finance is going to be blockchain based. Why do you think that is? Because blockchain in a very trusted environment creates a footprint all the way that you can trace the money back to. So fintech is likely to be blockchain based very, very soon. Many countries are now already basing some of their transactions on blockchain. But trust is not just about creating a technical footprint. That's important. Trust is also about me as a consumer trusting my platform. So if there's an artificial intelligence based nanny system, will you really trust the nanny system, leaving your child? In the future, it is expected to happen. But today, are you in a position to trust them? Probably not today. It's evolving. It has to do a lot more. But are you going to trust an autonomous car very soon? Probably. Many people are already trusting it a lot, although there's been one accident, you know, in the US. But one accident compared to thousands of accidents that a human being gets embroiled in as a driver. So trust at a very technology level, your computer platform is already highly trusted, but the applications that you develop on top of it, can they be trusted? So if you're in a digital marketing environment, can you trust a payment platform that will take your payment when you blink? Was that blink a payment acceptance or was it just something in your eye? How will the computer figure that out. You will take some time to trust, and the computer will have to learn a lot more before you arrive at that space. So the fifth thing that we talked about is to becoming future fit is trusted. So we have gone from autonomous, trusted, insight-driven, human, and one more. Connected. 5 senses that an organization must develop and evolve, and the technology to be used is artificial intelligence and machine learning, so that you, when you communicate with your customer, or as a consumer you communicate with your service provider, you're able to get an enhanced experience, and you are able to sustain your journey into the 21st century. We like to say that Oracle's digital marketing platform in customer experience is going to provide you all of these services in our SaaS, or software as a service application. But it too is evolving, and the first thing we're trying to do on it is make everything autonomous. Self-learning, self-repairing, and self-securing, the 3 things. There has never been a time of greater promise or greater peril. I'm done, thank you very much. This is what Stephen Hawking, Francois Chollet, the CEO of IBM, the CEO of Oracle, Larry Ellison, have all said. What you need to study now is how artificial intelligence and machine learning can be embedded into your environment as an individual and as a company to serve humanity better. Thank you very much for your time.